What's going on, Algebra Bros? Mr. C here, and in this video we're going to solve problem 12 of the MyMathLab Mr. C's Practice Unit 1 exam. So in this problem, what we want to do is use the graphing utility to approximate the real solutions, if any, of the given equation rounded to two decimal places. It says here that all solutions lie between -10 and +10, and for the most part that means that we can use the standard viewing window when finding these solutions. Now if you'll notice, with this equation, one side of it is equal to the number 0. And what that means is that we can select one of those two graphing calculator features, perhaps given priority to the 0 feature. And so let me just charge my pen for a quick second. It's been kind of giving me issues all day here. There we go. Alright, so the fact that one side of the equation is equal to 0 means that we'll use the 0 feature. Now when you use the 0 feature, you only need one graph, and that graph is going to be defined in y1 in the y equals menu, and y1 is going to be the expression x cubed minus 6x plus 2. So let me go to the graphing calculator, and in y equals, in y1 we'll type in x cubed, so x caret key 3, we'll arrow over to the right to get back down on the ground, and it is minus 6x plus 2. I'm going to hit zoom option 6 for the standard viewing window, and what we're looking for here are the x-intercepts. And so there appear to be 3 of them, and I'll go in order from left to right, starting with the leftmost. We'll press second trace, option 2, and for left bound, I want to be somewhere about right here on the graph because that's to the left of this first x-intercept. And for a right bound, I'm going to go to the other side of the x-intercept. Right here is probably good enough for a right bound. And for a guess, we'll just get close to the x-intercept as best as possible and press enter. So to two decimal places, we're looking at -2.60. And this right here, if you're seeing it on your graphing calculator, 1e -12, that's scientific notation for 1 times 10 to the power of -12. So it's a -0 point and then 11 zeros and then the number 1. In other words, this is pretty much like a rounding error on the graphing calculator's behalf, and it's essentially the number 0. So we can be sure that -2.60 is our first x-intercept, which represents our first solution to this equation. So let me go ahead and start jotting things down. Put a little coordinate plane right there. And here's a rough sketch of y1. And our first x-intercept is at approximately -2.60, 0. And the x-coordinate of this point is going to be our first of 3 solutions to this equation. So we'll select option A, -2.60, and now we're on to the next one, which will be this middle x-intercept. And by the way, just a quick recap, our left bound was right here on the graph, and our right bound was right about there. And these will switch with each other as we go from left to right finding x-intercepts. Case in point, a left bound for our second x-intercept right here would be a good spot for it. And then underneath the x-axis, a little bit further to the right of the second x-intercept will be a good place for our right bound. So going back to the graphing calculator, second trace, option 2. And I'll scooch this blinking cursor about right there for left bound, and I'll go underneath the x-axis for right bound, press enter, and then I'll scooch a little bit closer to the x-intercept and press enter. And to two decimal places, we're looking at roughly 0.34, 0. Alright, so our second solution to 2 decimal places is roughly 0.34, and we've got one more to go, and that's that third x-intercept to the right. Remember, rule of left bound and right bound interchange as we go from one x-intercept to the next. So without further ado, here's our graphing calculator. Second trace, option 2. I'm going to scooch a little bit over here. I think that's probably good enough for a left bound. That's technically to the left of that x-intercept. And for a right bound, I'll go on the other side of the x-axis, press enter, and then I'll come close to the x-intercept, press enter one more time. And our third and final solution to 2 decimal places is 2.26. So 2.26 comma 0. Again, the x-coordinate is our solution. And that's it for problem number 12. Alright, so that's how you can use the graphing calculator to solve an equation of this format. Again, we use the 0 feature because one side of the equation was 0. And when we elect to use the 0 feature, the other side is defined as our y1, and our solutions are the x-intercepts. Okay, so if we select the 0 feature, then that means we're to look for x-intercepts. Alright, let me know if you have any questions about this video. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.